give him a contract extension, then you are looking for a reason to move on. Sorry, Jennifer. This year is the reason. Because you're right that even though Vegas had Philly with better expectations than Dallas, Jerry Jones had the Cowboys with the highest expectations they've had since they had the triplets. A lot of other things would have to happen.
They have beaten the Ravens.
And so even if they win this week and win next week, which they wouldn't even have to if they win this week, they get to 9 wins. Even if I'm wrong and the winner of this division wins that first home playoff game and upsets the San Francisco or Seattle, Jason Garrett is gone.
What is that?
The only thing that could save him is multiple playoff wins, which is an impossibility.
See, you've never seen him. He's not all of he's mostly.
You know what? That's not true. I saw the one with the Jar Jar fella.
That's why he won.
Well, it is
everybody hated him.
I'm just telling you, that's all I've seen. So I don't
back at the Philadelphia Eagles.
I know that ours. I wish we could.
He's the Schmooze Parker. This is the team that they lose their quarterback, and at this point in time, 2 years ago,
don't leave us here though for a moment. I wish my friend with the handheld mic could turn and rotate and show our empty stats chair, because our fearless statistician Dustin Wade took the day off this morning.
And they're starting Case Keenum. Like,
a lot of crazy things can happen in the next month. To go
and the Cowboys are not a bad football team. They have been a dysfunctional and a disappointing football team. It's not for lack of talent.
To the 1 a.m.
And win a game, you get momentum. You win another game, you get momentum. And injuries do sometimes play into it. They could actually change your game. Now firing Jason Garrett.
But they're not going to the playoffs.
It's not
we
likely
may never see the playoffs.
I was so right about one topic in the last 2.5 years, and that was the Cleveland Browns.
Not yet. You just saw that scenario.
Stop the Patriots from winning their 11th straight AFC East.
I can't even function. You make a really good
layup. That's so weird. The Chiefs clinched the West.
A good layup.
Kick, you know what layup.
Yeah, like if layup posted workout videos, that would be you.
I like you so much, Doug Gottlieb. You're so much like
I've never liked you less, Doug.
$500 sales event cash and no monthly payments for 90 days. Only
Time for stores to start your morning. Last night, Giannis dropped 34 on the Lakers, showed off his improved three-point range. He made 5 three-pointers in the game. Giannis also crowned himself, insinuating that he is now the king. Nick, how great was Giannis' performance?
This was so cool to see. I think people might think because I'm a LeBron guy that I was upset by last night. Like, I'm upset I lost my Lakers +4 bet. I will admit that. But Giannis is one of my 5 favorite players of my adult life. He's my 2nd favorite current player. And seeing him, you made this point, Doug, and it's a great one. This is what the 112th biggest game of LeBron's career at this point. Probably not even. He's played more playoff games. This was maybe one of the 10 biggest games, biggest spotlight games.
Biggest regular season game he's ever played.
Giannis ever played in. And man, he was up for the challenge.
Yes. I also think for people who make the argument that guys from the older days, the Jordans of the world, couldn't become three-point shooters, I give you Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Because this is the trajectory. Is if you have the work ethic, you're going to shoot a volume of threes in-game, in practice, and you're watching him improve on the fly. Do I think he's a 5-3 a game night? 5-3 a game guy? No, I don't. Like, I don't even think he does. But it was pretty cool.
But if he can make 1.5 a game at 33%, it opens so many things for them. Like, he does not have to do what he did last night.
Well, look, the way in which traditionally you play a guy who's a limited jump shooter, you play off. The problem with that is if he hits it or if he gets a running start, it's really hard to go.
All right, moving on. The Rockets stormed back from a 17-point deficit last night to beat the Clippers. 122-117 was your final. On that one, Russell Westbrook leading Houston with 40 points, including 25 in the second half alone. Nick, how big of a win was this for the Houston Rockets?
Well, they've now won 2 out of 3 against the Clippers. They did it last night despite the Clippers hitting more threes, despite Harden not playing a great game. And once again, Kawhi Leonard, 4th best player on the court last night. And not even, but the best defender on the court was not Patrick Beverley, was not Paul George, was not Kawhi Leonard. It was P.J. Tucker, who was sensational on the defensive end last night. And again, Kawhi, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, in addition to having, I think, 4 second-half points, he's standing in the corner defensively guarding either McLemore or Daniel House, which is, or 8 second-half points, 2 second-half made field goals for Kawhi, which is probably not the best use of his talents, but in his defense, he hasn't had a day off recently, so he probably was a little tired.
I was impressed by the Rockets, and it was one of those Russell Westbrook games where because Patrick Beverley's on the other side, he unloaded everything in his bag for that game. He played angry Russ at both ends of the floor. He doesn't always bring that sort of effort, that sort of intensity. It got Lou Williams thrown out of the game because Lou Williams was in kind of a different place. I think the Montrezl Harrell thing, as much as he gives you on offense, he doesn't give you as much on defense to rebound the basketball. They don't. They don't have rim protection. They do have good perimeter defenders. Look, and I also wonder what the Clippers will do when they play in those made-for-TV games, not just regular season, but postseason. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Some questions about the 9-loss Los Angeles Clippers.
All right, on Wednesday, Dak Prescott was limited in practice for the first time in his career because of a shoulder injury that he suffered last week against the Rams. However, he says he'll be good to go Sunday in Philadelphia. Nick, can the Cowboys win if Dak isn't 100%?
I don't think the Cowboys are going to win, but even if Dak's going to be out there, Dak's, I'm sure, going to have some type of medical assistance in dealing with the pain. I don't think Dak being at 80% or 90% would be what prevents the Cowboys from winning this football game. So, yeah, I think they could win if he's not at 100% because they wouldn't play him if he couldn't make the requisite throws. Now, maybe if they're in an end-of-half Hail Mary situation, he wouldn't be able to do what he typically can as far as getting the ball downfield. I don't think Dak's health is going to be the defining factor of this game. I think it could be an excuse if the Cowboys lose, however.
Yes, I think it could be an excuse or it could be an explanation. But something tells me he's more healthy than we're being led to believe. Otherwise, there wouldn't be this definitive, I'm going to play. He's going to be out there. Part of this is the narrative that's followed Dak, which is he's tough. His leadership, he's a tough hombre. He shows great leadership in his ability to always be available. To answer your question, Jenna, I don't think he has to be 100% from them to win. Do I think he has to be competent? Of course.
Yep.
Of course. But I don't think he has to because, look, last time they were able to run the ball with Zeke, last time they were able to get Amari Cooper going, you're not asking him to make any sort of super dynamic throws. I think if he can just singles and doubles, they should be fine because they're the better team.
He didn't take a snap the last 2 days of practice. So anyway, on to the Patriots now. Tomorrow they host the 10-4 Buffalo Bills, who have had a tremendous season. Patriots can clinch an 11th straight AFC East title with a win. All of that despite their offensive woes. Nick Wright, will the Pats beat the Bills and win the division?
Well, I think Pats will eventually win the division, but I don't think it'll be this weekend because I don't think they're going to beat Buffalo. Now, I understand where this game's being played, and picking the Bills to win in Foxborough seems foolish. But picking this offense, especially speaking of injuries, with Julian Edelman dealing with whatever he's dealing with, picking this offense to all of a sudden score the requisite points to beat a competent team, to me, that seems a little foolish as well. We saw this offense stuck in the mud against Cincinnati for the first half of that football game. What flipped that game to where the Patriots all of a sudden scored in the high 30s was a muffed punt, then an interception, then a pick six, then a short field after an onside kick. We know the offense couldn't get going against Kansas City, couldn't get going against Houston, Dallas, Philly,
and this is a legit defense. Buffalo has a legit defense. Great team speed.
And the first time around, the Patriots scored 13 points in the first 9 minutes. 7 of those came on a blocked punt touchdown, and then scored 3 points the rest of the way. Brady did that, but Brady also has struggled mightily against this team with this coach. Since Sean McDermott, now maybe the record hasn't struggled. Look at Tom Brady's numbers. 5 games since Sean McDermott's been the head coach of the Bills. That's terrible.
Yep.
That is not just bad for Brady. That's bad for anybody. 74 passer rating, 6.5 yards per attempt, more picks than touchdowns. And even Brady this year, his worst year he's had in at least 15 maybe of his career. Yeah. One thing he's done a really good job of, not turning the ball over. He's been great at protecting the ball. So, yeah, I think the Bills can win this football game. It does, because of the tiebreakers, they would have to win this game and next week, and then also have the Patriots lose this game and lose next week to win the division. So I think Pats still win the division, but I think the Bills win a very close game on Saturday.
Remind me, okay? He said the Eagles were going to win because of 3 factors, right? They were at home.
They were at home.
They had the better coach, and they had a better quarterback, right?
Yes.
Okay, the Patriots
are at home. They have the better coach. I'm not sure.
Oh.
But listen, do I think?
I'm not sure.
Well, no.
I just want to see.
Listen, what he's saying is kind of my argument, the LeBron argument I made earlier, which is, like, if I say that Kevin Durant has been better than LeBron James the last 3 years, it's not throughout his career. LeBron at his absolute peak is better than Kevin Durant was maybe last couple years, right? And now LeBron at 34, 35, he can't be expected to be Giannis at 24,
sure,
right? So what he's saying is Tom Brady, who was bad at the end of last year. I know he had the Jets game where he played great, but he had other stinkers.
He was
at the
bad in the AFC Championship game. He was bad in the Super Bowl.
Right. He has not been. He gets worse as the season goes on because of all the reps on that shoulder, and people can get him off his spot. But he's still Tom Brady. They're still the Patriots. They find a way. And again, to use your argument, like, are you really going to pick Josh Allen?
I just did
on the road to beat the Patriots and Bill Belichick. In December? Can
I give one pushback on that? Now, the on the road part is a big factor. I'm not eliminating that. But as far as Josh Allen, the Bills could not have gotten worse quarterback play than they got in this first meeting.
Sure.
That was...
They wheeled that Matt Barkley, and you're like, damn, Matt Barkley's still in the league?
Josh Allen threw, before he got hurt,
and he was bad.
Threw 3 picks.
Yes.
Then Matt Barkley came in, and he threw a pick. And they were still
had a chance
right there the entirety of that second half.
But there's no reason... and part of what's happened in the NFL is what we see in the NBA, and the same thing happens in baseball. Because there are teams that are non-competitive. The difference this year in the NFL is there's been a group of teams that have been non-competitive since game 1. Usually it's like game 14 on, right? Teams start packing it in. But the Dolphins were just inept. The Bengals have just been inept. Terrible teams. So it's really hard to use the volume of statistics because the Patriots have loaded up defensively against the bad teams, kicked the hell out of them, scored a bunch of points, where they play the good